In a world where a millennial and a non-millennial make a podcast.
Live from the Tigheland Studios in beautiful downtown North Hollywood, it's the Me&Marcus Show.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome.
You all right over there?
Yep. Well, I don't want to do too long of an intro because we have a very special guest today.
Oh my God, I love who?
Oh, you want to hear your intro? It's
Oh,
pretty.
for me.
I don't need to read
Pretty.
this intro.
It's pretty.
Hold on, let me
it's
get comfortable.
Settle in. All right. If we could do a drum roll if needed, but you may know him from Pretty Little Liars as Detective Fury, or maybe Dominic from How to Get Away with Murder, if I can speak, or even Dr. Neil Melendez. Am I pronouncing this yes?
You are.
From ABC's The Good Doctor, please welcome actor and producer Nicholas Gonzalez.
That's right. I forgot about that one credit from the 90s when I
That's so
provided some
tight.
food on a set.
I was like looking at your IMDb. You have like so many credits I didn't even know. Like I was like, oh my God, he was in that. Dang, I didn't know. I had no idea.
You were a PA and you brought food and they upped you to a producer.
No. I made some very crucial decisions, but very key people together.
Nice.
Produced
so
that
tight.
thing. But no.
Welcome back to LA. You've been in Vancouver, right?
It's so nice to be back. And when we first got back, it was so rainy. So I felt like we brought everything with us. And the funniest thing is when we first got back in the beginning of March, there was a cold front, and it was all from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
It,
so you
followed us
literally
down.
did bring it back
We
with
did bring
you.
it with us, which
That's
was really
hilarious.
crappy for the first few weeks. But now the sun's out, and it's amazing.
It's so nice.
Nice.
It's so hot out right now.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, stop complaining.
It's great.
My
This is not
goodness.
hot.
Yeah.
But it's hot.
No, San Antonio
When it's
is hot.
106 here in the summer, you're going to be like, oh, I wish we were back in March.
So, how was the show? Are you guys on hiatus, or is it?
We are. We're on hiatus we're usually off for about 4 months. Mm-hmm. And they're about 8 months out of the year in Vancouver.
And you just got picked up for a second season, right?
We did.
Congrats.
We're
So
excited. Thank you so
exciting.
much.
It's huge.
Thank you so much. Still
Huge.
here.
Huge.
You like that?
We know how that is here. You know, it's shows just don't really have a lifespan anymore. You know, much less support from networks like we do. So I've been very fortunate.
Wow.
Is there any fun stories from set?
No,
No?
there are no fun stories from set. No,
I was going to say, wait, really?
How about unfun stories?
you know, the funniest story actually from set is every time we get asked that question, we're always scrambling to like think, oh, come on, we're fun, right? We're fun, and it's hard to kind of come up with. We really love being around each other.
Nice.
You know, we all can take a joke. We are all usually giving each other a lot of crap, and
That's the best.
but it's fun, you know, and it's set from the top down. David Shore, Freddie Highmore, just really fun, really smart, interesting people who really give a shit about what they're doing, which is very rare in this day and age, and very rare, I think, with network TV.
That's so special. It's very special. Very special.
On a very special The Good Doctor.
Freddie Highmore is from Bates Motel, right?
Freddie Highmore is from August Rush, from Bates Motel, from...
Yeah, he works a lot. That kid, he was so good in Bates Motel.
I remember
Eerie
August
and
Rush.
dark.
And he also directed and wrote episodes of
Really?
Of Bates Motel. Wow.
No Slouch there. So, and he's now 25, so at that time he was even younger. So.
He must have
Wow.
been 19 or 20. I mean, this
You
was
want to
going
feel
back.
like you're not doing anything, look at Freddie's resume.
Seriously. Huge. That is huge.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
So you're from Texas, right?
San Antonio. Yeah.
Were you aware that today is National Texas Love the Children Day?
I don't know how I feel about that. Is
Isn't
that
it
legal?
interesting? I don't know. We always do national holidays, and today
Do-
that
I
is
like this
that.
guy already.
Okay. Is that what the coffee is for? I'm confused. How do we celebrate this?
By
No touching.
acknowledging it.
I love my
Yeah, no
child.
touching them,
You know,
yeah.
I
You
love
are
children
a
in general.
dad.
I would step in front of a speeding bullet for a child. So if that's what
National-
it's about, then I celebrate it like a true Texan.
I think I would do that. I've had a pretty full life.
Texas loves children.
I think I'd sacrifice myself for a child, step in front of a bullet.
Right?
Yeah.
No,
I think
I know
so.
that. I mean, look, I've had a good life. I've had a good
Yeah.
life. You know, it depends. It depends on the kid.
I
Some
guess,
kids
yeah,
are really
let's be
shitty.
honest.
Some kids are really shitty.
Oh,
You just be like, oh, I tried, and it was right here between the
Right.
arm and the side.
Yeah.
If I just had my arm down, but I was trying to cover more space.
it was
Right,
it was the
right.
wind.
And
It was the wind.
I might take it, right. I'll take it maybe in an area, a flesh wound.
Actually, Kids and Guns is probably isn't. It's apropos, but probably not along the lines.
Too soon?
Texas
Way
loves
too.
children.
It's always
I'll
too
just tell
soon.
you
That's
that.
what's a nightmare
Yeah,
about
Texas
it.
doesn't love its children enough to fight more for gun reform.
Good
Tell
point.
them.
Yeah, I will say
'em.
this: I don't want to poke a sleeping bear.
Yeah.
If I can refer to you, sir. We've just met, but what about this? There's always a special day every day, celebration to make you buy donuts or tacos, or that you are now seeing with millennials.
This is amazing.
How do you feel about that?
As somebody who grew up
National Puppy Day.
Right. There was 3 days
National
when I
Best
was
Friend
growing up.
Day.
Your birthday, Christmas, and Halloween if you acted right.
For sure.
And
Those
those
were
even
the
got
three-
joined together if you wanted something big.
Right,
On something that was like $100, you had to join
Exactly.
together.
So how do I feel about that? Well, this is the thing where me and the millennials part a little because I think there's just too much celebration.
This is where it
occasionally.
is? Hold on. This is the only place where you guys
There's
depart?
others, but as
the basis
I
of this.
defend millennials quite often because they're very creative and they've helped me in my creative endeavors, which I appreciate. And they've also schooled me in certain areas where I grew up kind of rough and tumble, and I had to be a little more sensitive to things. So,
That's a tough part of it, isn't it? Because you know what evil lies in the hearts of men.
I grew up in really intense machismo, toxic masculinity, and I'm very clear on that. I actually wrote a book of short stories about it, and it kind of outlines my upbringing. So I know that we're in different times and meeting people where they're at, and not just, hey, pull yourself up by the bootstraps, be a man. Like, it's not
Right.
that simple anymore, you know?
I will say that the rise I get out of you by telling you what national holiday it is so amazing.
Well, yeah, and that's going to continue. So,
That's why I keep doing it.
except Waffle Day, that one I was happy about.
Waffle Day's nice.
Yeah.
You can't always find a good waffle.
No, it wasn't-
But too many self-congratulatory days, or
Right.
of course Mother's Day, Father's Day. Like, but you're right. When the millennials start making up days, all right.
Yeah. Like, I don't think
Checks
I have
and
the
balances.
power and the right to like create a day for the whole world. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you have Women's Day, and that's something that's finally really being celebrated as
Don't even get
opposed
me
to
started
something.
on Women's Day. I can rant for at least 5 minutes about this
Okay.
shit. The women take off work for this day. It's like
Good.
something. No.
Why not?
You know how like hard we've fought? Not we. Like I.
To have job, I understand
Do you know what I
that
mean? Like,
for
we've
independence, financial
fought
independence,
so
for
long
careers,
to have
absolutely.
equality, and then you're going to take the day off. It's like no, I'm going to keep working.
She's hardcore.
Well, look at the civil rights movement. People fought so hard to be treated equally and have the same jobs open, but they still took the time off to fight because it didn't exist.
Yeah.
I still don't agree with the fact that people
You don't have
take
to
the
agree
day
with
off.
history or the facts, but they still remain. But I totally get it.
Yeah, I'm going to keep working.
Yeah.
There's a lot of disagreement about facts in
Yeah,
America
that's,
now,
you know,
so it's
It's always
what
an
it
interesting
is.
part of it.
That's so true. What else do you have going on this year?
What else I have going on? I'm trying to raise a 1-year-old little girl.
Wow.
What's her name?
Ever
That's a great name.
Lee Wild Gonzalez.
Wow. That's
That's such a sweet name.
that's a great. First of all, Ever is the most unique. Never heard of that name for a child,
really?
for anybody. I've never heard the name Ever.
You might actually
EVER.
remember. You might actually remember Ever Carradine, who's one of the daughters of one of the Carradine brothers, and was an actress of some repute, like I think
Okay.
80s and even 90s.
Okay,
And
that
always
one.
thought-
I
remembered
probably
her
if I
being
saw
really
her
cool.
picture. Yeah.
She was always really cool. Had to kind of look like one of the Carradines.
Carradines are cool folk. A friend of mine is one of the Carradines who works for Power Plant Choppers in Hollywood. For my friend, this guy Univ owns Power Plant Choppers. Yeah, and he's God. It's amazing. You look at him and you're like, wow. There's John. There's David. The whole family is in this guy's face when you look at him. You know what I mean? Between the eyes and the structure.
Wow. Nice.
And trippy.
Crazy right behind the eyes.
Yeah, they're
So a 1-year-old.
Yeah, so she's been amazing. Sleeps through the night. We're actually really been an amazing blessing where we're kind of have it really easy. So we're already talking about the second one, which
Oh, really?
Wow.
That's
which I hear
great.
is really horrible. You know,
really?
if the first one is great, so
wow.
we don't
great.
know what to expect.
Congrats.
But between that and the show and trying to take a little time off ever since my wife and I met about 6 years ago, we've both just been nose to the grindstone. Like the baby was born 6 days after I left to go do the pilot for Good Doctor. I mean, it's just
Wow.
been like work, and so we're finally feeling like she has her own business.
Yeah.
And we're feeling like we've really done so much work that now it's time to enjoy it. So we're kind
Good.
of taking a little break. I still got roped in doing a job here that I'm really excited about. That I don't know. It's pretty early on, but right now it's called Undone, and it's for Amazon, and
Nice.
it's one of these cool like Scanner Darkly kind of waking life. Thing
Oh,
where
yeah, I
we
love
film
that
it,
stuff.
Film it in a black box theater, but then they go back and paint over it.
Oh, I love that.
Should be really
Rotoscoping.
cool.
I think it's
Yeah,
rotoscoping
exactly.
animation, yeah.
Exactly.
Really, really badass stuff.
So I haven't even had my first day on it, but I'm really excited to
That's
do that. And,
exciting.
yeah, feel some voiceover stuff's always fun. I feel like way over my head on it, but I'm getting great opportunities, so I'm trying to focus on those kind of things too.
Very
Was this
special.
an adaptation from a book, or somebody actually just outright wrote it? Is it like a Philip K. Dick book or something?
You know, it's from the creator of BoJack Horseman.
Oh, that's a good show.
Good writing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those guys are
Really
great.
good writing. Yeah.
Right.
Nice, man.
Yeah,
That
so
show's hilarious. I always enjoyed that show. You and I did a movie together.
we did in
Last
Ohio.
year.
My first, well, not my first time there, but I spent a week there one night. I think like maybe 10 years prior to that. But,
It's okay.
It's a trip when you
all right
spend
there.
a week somewhere.
no, I had a buddy in
one
the
night.
Cleveland Clinic.
Oh, wow.
Oh yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good hospital though.
It was an amazing hospital. Yeah, they did
yeah.
incredible brain surgery on him, and he's alive.
Wow,
He's doing amazing. Yeah.
that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, my brother
An
is
injury
is an
or
actual
was it-
surgeon and was able to recommend like the top guy in the nation that another surgeon friend had worked with, and was able to get my buddy in, and
Incredible.
it's incredible.
Wow, man. Those are kind of stories you do not hear often
That's so
about.
true.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's pretty intense.
miracle.
Well, sadly, there was someone else who had the same sort of thing, and it's called a Chiari malformation, in case you're wondering. And but it's actually where the brain in the back is growing so much, and it doesn't have room with the skull, and it's like causing pressure back there, and and can cause all sorts of problems. And one of them being death. But someone else who hadn't listened to him and went with someone locally, and whose sister is now partially paralyzed, and so it's the right doctor can really.
And a rare,
make the
sounds pretty
difference.
rare,
Right.
too.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Jeez.
So how did you grow up? What was your whole deal growing up?
My father was military. He was Army Ranger Airborne. Moved around a bit.
Oh,
but
he's like
Texas
real
is where-
that's real military.
Yeah, he's West Point grad, and
Wow.
kind of like 1600 SATs kind of guy. But just when he told you to do something, he said, "All I want to see is assholes and elbows."
Yeah, that's what they said. That's what
You
it
literally
was.
you see the picture, you know what that means? It's like
That
why don't
was
you go
the
over
Air
there
Force.
doing
Amazing.
work. If I say
Yep.
jump, well, you'd say that's the
Right.
Army, but you guys can argue about that.
Right.
But growing up with a man like that, he was a colonel, and when he retired and then started his own practice as a dermatologist.
Wow.
And we grew up in San Antonio, Texas. Spent a little time in Arizona at Fort Huachuca, but then came back to most of his time was at Fort Sam Houston before he left to Fort Benning when I was probably around 9, 10.
Wow.
And so then I stayed in San Antonio, and he was there, and we'd spend our summers in Columbus, Georgia.
Wow.
There at Fort Benning.
Wow. You've been around. You've been around the South.
Yeah, we got
Insane.
to do a lot with my father. He was responsible for the guy that got us into the sports we were doing, and like things like scuba diving and cycling and running and soccer, and
Nice.
he was a marathoner and all this other kind of stuff. And so we learned all that through him.
How about golf?
Golf, I learned on my own, but not with
I
him.
love
He never
golf.
played. Yeah,
Your dad was a
I
golfer?
learned myself.
I just started
No, my dad
like 2
wasn't.
months ago. It's
Oh,
like
really?
the greatest stress reliever. We're actually going this evening after the podcast.
And it also creates stress too. But
yeah, but it's like a battle within yourself.
I love being out there,
You know what
though.
I mean? It's so amazing. We're gonna go play some pitch and putt.
Nice.
nice.
Getting
You guys
back
are
to
welcome
your,
to come.
I might take you up on that.
It's fun.
Getting back to your dad. Did you ever see the
I,
movie?
however, will not take you up on that.
He's gotta get.
I gotta
he
make
has-
Korean ribs, man.
Oh,
I'm
no.
daddy. I gotta go.
You
I'm
a
cooking
chef?
tonight. I'm
Korean
barbecuing.
ribs.
You just throw them on the grill.
Oh, okay.
Some other guy.
Oh,
I
married
thought there
me.
was
You just throw
something,
'em on
a
the grill.
rub.
Yeah, yeah.
You went
buy
to
that.
Koreatown and got some
Yum.
spices.
I'm not going to mess with the Koreans. They know how to do it best, so I'm just
They
going to get it
really
from
do.
them.
They really
Korean
do.
barbecue is
Well,
the
I'm sure it's
shit.
brown sugar and some soy sauce.
Yeah,
you
for
know.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How far do you have to go?
How hard is it?
I wanted to ask you. You ever see this movie, The Great Santini?
Gosh, I do remember that.
You remember that? I was thinking about your growing up, your experience with that. Robert Duvall.
Oh, I'm trying
He
to
plays a
remember
hardcore military dad, but really intense. And I was just wondering,
It's been a long time since I've seen that.
was it kind of that intensity growing up in that kind of with that kind of a military father?
He was a harsh disciplinarian, but He was also such a smart guy. I think it took a lot of patience knowing that people didn't move as fast as he did.
Wow. See, that's...
He had it really together, but...
and he was an officer, which is a big difference than enlisted.
Right,
And you
right.
know this, yeah.
Right, but yet he was one that always got along with the men that he commanded. They always had a lot of respect for him, but, you know, he didn't rule with fear, but
Right.
if prodded and if you didn't have a sense of humor, then he was finally going to go after you. But, you know, he was also a softie.
Wow.
He was, you know,
Vietnam?
a very loving man, and is. A
Right.
very loving man, still with us.
Right.
Vietnam vet, yeah. He was out in LZ, Siberia, out in the middle of nowhere on top of a... in the jungle on top of a mountaintop and just surrounded by barbed wire and a helicopter pad and a few artillery guns.
Wow.
And he was the commander of the fire base, and I want to say he was 25, 26 or something.
Wow.
There's a Ken Burns documentary just recently came out about Vietnam. It's really amazing.
Amazing.
That's why I asked, because it's so fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Where's that on?
I think it was on PBS, but now it's probably for purchase. But it's probably moving to another network. But it's intense, you guys.
He talks about it, you know. I mean, a lot of men have a hard time, and, you know, and other people, of course, saw other kinds of horrors or were on patrol and had a lot, you know, his was very different. There wasn't a lot that separated him from the jungle and whoever was in it to
Right.
get them. And they were definitely a target, but he kind of thrived a bit in that atmosphere, I think.
Yeah.
As far as just feeling like he felt confident and in control and was able to help other people deal with it. So,
Sounds like a really impressive guy to
good
be able to
man.
come out of that with not the level of PTSDs and to be able to
Yeah.
raise a family and rise up.
You know, an interesting thing, a quick departure, is when his oldest brother passed away just recently, and I didn't know this until my father gave a speech that night, but his older brother was in the Marine Corps, and while my dad was at West Point, he went to Vietnam and did his tour, and meanwhile, my father was just about to graduate, and they would send a lot of these lieutenants, you know, when they graduated, they were lieutenant, and they would send them out there, and you've probably seen, I don't know if you've seen some of the Vietnam films, but I'm sure you're familiar with them. The butter bar gets out there and has no real war experience, but all classroom experience.
Right.
And he hasn't been out in the bush and doesn't listen to
Right.
the guys underneath him. And, you know, but it's also something that you have to learn and hopefully get the time and wisdom and not be thrust into a situation like that. And knowing that was happening to a lot of these men, my uncle volunteered to do another tour so my dad wouldn't be immediately sent out.
Wow.
So he took that year for him, and my dad was then sent to Germany and given more prep and more training.
Wow,
before.
that's
I
great.
just had goosebumps.
I was like, what a
amazing.
sacrifice.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Right?
you know, we've all heard the hell it was.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
You're third generation? Or
What?
fourth? How long has your father or your family been?
Oh, like in America?
Yeah.
Well, we were here. We didn't cross the border crossed us, really. I mean, we've been in Texas for...
That's the truth.
For over 3 generations. So
Wow.
when it was Mexico, I guess we were still there.
Right. So, yeah, of course you would. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my grandparents
He's a
were
native.
born in Texas.
That means he's actually a native
Yeah.
here. Yeah, I'm the
Yeah.
visitor.
Right.
I'm the one, right. I'm the one who came from, but then again, we had to come from where we were coming from, or I
Right.
wouldn't be sitting here now. If my grandmother hadn't left Germany when she did.
German.
Grandma Gretel. What was her name? Was it Greta?
Melita.
Oh.
That's a dope
That's a
name.
pretty
Melita.
name.
Like that.
Melita
See,
and
she's
Samuel.
got a little Latin flavor.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
I'm
Melita.
Italian.
She was German Jew, and they were,
You know what that name means in Spanish, though?
no.
Little bad one.
Oh.
Well, actually, maldita maybe, but mal is bad, and
Close.
ita is the diminutive.
Right,
so
right,
maldita
right,
is
right.
kind of like little bad
Wow.
one.
That's great.
No offense to grandma.
That's great.
Just maybe it meant she don't tangle with her. You know, she's
Right,
a tough woman,
right.
possibly.
That's awesome.
Wow, that's really interesting that your family's been there that long.
Yeah, my grandfather grew up like on a dairy farm there in Texas, and he would tell me stories about life there.
I love that you're so rooted in generations of knowing where you come from as opposed to people that have moved around so much. Or
Well, I'm fortunate that my mom has a real interest in it. She's really taken I mean, she's the one to sit down and talk to, and she can trace us back and you know, back to Spain and I think Sephardic Jewish roots and all sorts of things.
Wow.
But I mean, I think we really identify with Mexico. And
that's what I
native
wanted to know,
roots
if
in
it
that
was
area.
Spanish or if it was Mexico. And that's
At
really
some
cool.
point,
Nice.
we did go back there, but I mean, I think our identity is looped in with Mexico and southern Texas.
Amazing.
Tejano, they call it.
Tejano.
Right.
Good music.
Speaking of other countries, I have news.
You have other
Speaking
country
of
news?
Texas and other countries,
So
Because Texas can be another country, certain areas. Anyway.
It certainly is at times.
now we're going to talk about Canada. You
Okay.
ready? This is some shit.
What a come down, huh?
Right?
A Canadian teen turned 18 earlier this month. So she went and bought a bottle of sparkling wine and a $4 scratch off. But then she was faced with a tough decision because she actually won the scratch off.
Wow.
Right? So she could either choose to have $1,000 for a week for the rest of her life or $1 million now. So with taxes, that would equate to like $773.80 a week or $773,800 now. And so she got that on her 18th birthday.
The $773,000?
You get it all now.
No, she actually consulted with a financial advisor and she chose the per week for the rest of her life. Smart girl.
I think it's a better move, yeah. This just popped up out of nowhere?
Yep.
This is Toronto news that you're reading on a weekly basis to get this information, or it just came up out of nowhere?
I Googled news and that's what sparked my
That was
interest.
the first story that came up.
I was so amazed. I was like, I'm sharing
Not
this.
deep state, not black money. That's what came up.
No, this is the
Well, of
least
course, that
Something
controversial.
about Cambridge Analytica, but who cares about England?
Right, exactly. That's great.
But then I want to ask you, what would you guys do? Would you take the lump sum now?
I would take the
or-
lump sum now.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I would just take it now and buy a house. That's what I really want right
That's
now.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I would do
Might as well
that.
invest in real estate
Although
before
I
it
wouldn't
goes
buy a
up
house
more.
here.
Yeah, that would buy like half
Put
a
a
house.
hell of a down payment down.
You can maybe
Right,
get like,
exactly.
Yeah, a small condo.
Because it's not the old days. You don't have remember when the Orange account came out and it had like this really high interest, 8%, 11%. I mean, it was nuts back in the day. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Jeez.
Bank accounts used to get interest.
Yeah.
You
Really?
put them in, and now it's to get money working.
It's,
I mean, you can't even trust the stock market.
No, you can't. And if you're not a day trader or if you're not a hedge fund manager, you're not. I'm lucky in that area because I know some people that are pretty heavy duty still on Wall Street, or they've done
really?
like I know that if I got a lump sum of money like that I'd get some good orderly direction on where to go with it.
Would you take the lump sum or would you?
I would take the lump sum and I would definitely spread it out a little. I would look at some cryptocurrencies that are getting beat to shit. I would look at the one that
the pre-charge.
the pre-charge that I would look
stoked
at
on it.
marijuana stocks are really good right now. There's a lot of stuff happening there.
I don't know. I've been watching it. It keeps like going down.
That's going to take a minute. It's the same thing with any early big
Any kind of
stocks.
early rise like that. then
Yeah,
adjust
like
them.
nicotine, alcohol. I mean, it's just going to be right in the mix with all those things in a matter of time.
It's
so.
funny how many people are all just cool with doing it now. Parents
Smell
that
it
it was
everywhere you go
Literally,
in LA.
you go outside and it smells of weed.
It's
But my
pretty-
parents, even growing up, they're like, I just never tried it, never really. And now my mom's like, we had the gummy bears, and those were
my
awesome.
God,
We
the
had
mom does
that
it?
stuff. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Now they
good.
do
Good for
edibles,
her.
and they go on a trip to Colorado, and they all got high. And have a
That's
lot.
Good for
Awesome.
her. How old is your mom, if you don't mind me asking?
No, I mean she would mind. No, she's actually pretty proud because she looks so darn young. But she is now. My dad's 30 years older than me. He's going to be 72 this year, and she is 68.
Oh, she's
no,
young.
69. I think 69.
She's young. That's young.
It's a good age.
I don't think she's 70 yet.
good
No,
age.
we haven't had the
Yeah.
big party.
Nice. Weed always
But-
made me paranoid. Like always got
I'm not a
paranoid.
big fan of weed.
Well, it used to do a lot of things to a lot of us back in the day, and it's
Yeah.
just changed so much. It used to put me
Yeah.
to sleep. It was the kind of thing that, like, I could never understand how people could smoke and then go out. I smoked, and I was
Right.
like, the guy was like, I just want to pass out here. Sorry, I cannot keep my eyes open to save my life.
Yeah, like I couldn't converse. I was just like, all right, I
See,
think I'm
we're
gonna
more-
Or there was
listen or go
sativas
to
which
bed.
make you super, like, within the first 5 minutes, you're contemplating everything about your life, and you feel like you're a failure. And if you
Right.
get past that
Yeah,
point, then
that
you're
kind
fine.
of insecurity,
and
right?
then like, oh my
right.
god, it's a cop. We have to.
We smoked and skateboarded and boogie boarded and went to the beach, but then it stopped being that way. So you're right. It changes stages of what it does and what it does for you, and then what it does to you.
And then the different strains now, too, though. I mean, what we were getting in Texas back in the day was just like a real skunk kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
The only ever time I really got high, there was my uncle. He got some good stuff. for some
Right,
reason.
the real
You
stuff.
got that good stuff.
But I'll tell you something. I work in a rehab a couple of days a week facilitating groups, and marijuana's really strong now.
Really?
And there's some 17, 18, 19-year-old kids that are coming in that had to have a little bit of a detox. They were doing what are called dabs, which I guess is pure
that's a
forms
Is
of
that the
whole
THC.
stuff
crazy
in the vapes
concentration.
that they put
Yeah,
in?
yeah. It's
or even it's what they put right to a fire element. They'll have like a wax thing that they just put
What?
right to like a burning
yeah,
element,
it's
and then they're like,
Like they're smoking crack?
it's a lot like
it's
that.
the purest form of THC,
But
which
then
is
it's
so
a really
cons-
short high, intense, short and intense, like porn stars love it.
Dang. Porn stars love it.
Yeah, they do.
Where did you read this?
Hey, he didn't read it.
That's so
He
funny.
was there.
That's hilarious.
You think he just popped onto
He's
the
like,
Good
"Yeah,
Doctor?
they do." Yeah, they do.
Hey, I used to be heavy into politics. I know these kind of things.
Okay, respect. So that was my news about Canada.
That's interesting.
Thank you for letting me share.
I'm blown away that a 17-year-old did that, and I think it's very.
The day she turned 18, she's like, "I'm gonna get a lottery ticket," and then her whole life changes.
I like the fact that she didn't go for the quick fix and that she's getting it over time. I think for somebody that age, it's pretty respectable in a day and age of, let me get everything right now, quickly as possible. So that's kind of
The
commendable.
whole millennial outlook on things.
And in the telling of the story, you mentioned that she bought a bottle of sparkling wine. What
Yeah.
was that?
Yeah,
To celebrate her birthday, she bought like champagne or something,
I'm assuming.
and then
so.
happened to have that to celebrate.
Right.
Holy shit! I just won
Yeah.
$1 million.
So pop the bottle. Let's get rich.
It's a whole bunch of moms.
$1,000. I think $1,000 a week in Canada is probably pretty good money, right?
Well, yeah, because that exchange.
Canada's expensive.
Oh, it is.
It is.
Even though
Not
we get
more
it,
expensive than
everything's
LA, though,
20%
right?
off. Everything's 20% off. But
because of the exchange.
No, the
Oh, wow.
real estate is like San
It's up
Francisco.
there.
It's super expensive in Vancouver, at least.
Wow, I guess that makes sense because of all the production
Yeah,
that's up
there's
there.
like 70 productions there at one point, just
Oh
this
my
past couple of years.
gosh.
So then there's probably a lot of Silicon Valley type stuff happening up there as well, based on all that production that's going on.
Roy and I went to Ontario for Christmas, and it's pricey there.
Wow,
It's pricey, but the McDonald's was fantastic. I
well,
don't
because I'm
know,
sure the
but
meat.
I'm very iffy on fast food.
Well, of course.
I won't do it.
And
But
you should be.
McDonald's tastes like actual food in Canada.
You can't sit there and say that you're very iffy about fast food and you won't do it and say that you ate McDonald's.
They had not many options.
Then you're not iffy, but then you're not iffy and you're not going to do it.
And I was also starving.
You're like, I'm iffy, but I'm going to do it.
I'm gonna do
So
it.
you're like, I'm iffy and I'm going to do it. Now that's what you say when people
Exactly.
talk about fast food.
Right.
You go, I'm iffy, but I do it.
I love how
That makes more
you kind of
sense.
have
Right,
like.
right.
I just want to see you be your best self.
I'm out here being my best self. Sometimes having fast food,
I like that he put you
Canada.
in check on that.
but
But
it
you
tasted
will
like
eat a
actual
7-Eleven
This is a
food.
collaborative
taquito.
effort.
It tasted like actual food in Canada.
Well, because I
did.
think they
It
use
didn't
better
taste like
quality meats.
plastic.
I understand.
That's so special.
They must be going around somehow.
And also, they have Tim
loophole.
Hortons.
So it tasted like In-N-Out type quality. Is that what you're saying?
Pardon me?
Like
It
a little
tasted like-
closer to meat.
Yeah, closer to
I don't
me.
like
right?
In-N-Out. I think it tastes like shit.
Really? Huh.
I think it's all hype.
Never taste. Well, actually, that's not true. But it very different flavor.
You
At
know,
least
I
a
think
different
it's-
texture. It's
Spongy.
Yeah, I think
50
it's
things doing different when you're dead.
Jinx.
He's on it.
I think In-N-Out is the whole
I gotta chill on that
concept
one.
of
Give me some.
Boat drinks. Remember?
Boat drinks.
When we put the hand up. Jimmy the
50
Saint.
things to
Jimmy
do
the
in
Saint.
Denver when you're dead is a
Because they would all
genius.
visit each
that a
other in
movie?
prison, so their greeting
No.
is they would put the hand up, and the other guy would put a hand up, like as if they were meeting through the glass.
Right, right.
It's like men that all love each other but can't say that they love each other, so they just go walk around being all
So
cool.
good.
Yes.
Right,
Boat drinks.
exactly.
Boat
They were all
drinks.
bros. That was before real bromance made its way to the screen.
Special.
Seymour.
I've never had a
Seymour Cassell's
bromance.
in that.
What a
We did a film together. He
Seymour
is crazy.
Really?
You work with Seymour Cassell? So you must be a
Filmed in
Cassavetes
Mexico.
fan.
Yeah,
you
of
probably
course,
watched
of
all the. Dude, I love it. You got all this under. How old are you?
42 years old.
Oh,
Come
so
on,
you're in
man.
the realm.
We can
Okay.
compare
Well, I'm
scars
53,
here.
but yeah. So and
I
I
saw
got to
even more of the fun out here that I missed.
I got to get. I was raised in really good Indian underground film stuff because my dad did not take us to Disney films. He took us to see the movies he wanted to see. So
Nice.
we were in the theater watching Clockwork Orange.
That's
my
amazing.
dad, same thing, but we were watching more like Dirty Harry movies.
Yeah, that too.
And
Yeah.
like
That
48
too.
Hours.
Right,
I
the
was,
Enforcer.
I
Right,
grew
right.
up on all those, all the Charles Bronson.
Yeah,
Wish, you know.
man.
That's
They're doing a
awesome.
Death
remake.
Wish. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Death Wish with Bruce Willis.
Oh, Bruce Willis.
We'll
I worked
see what
with him.
happens. Look at you guys.
Ohio.
Did you? What movie was that?
First kill.
Wow. Speaking role.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I didn't make the cut.
You
but
came, whatever.
I got paid.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually got my first residuals check, and I got so stoked.
Nice.
Recently?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
That was nice.
Those will sustain you.
Yeah. But back to talking about good movies. Roy's schooling me on so many good movies. I just watched Full Metal Jacket for the
Oh my
first time.
gosh.
Incredible.
What is your major malfunction?
So
Numbnuts?
good.
Incredible.
I worked
didn't
with
want
Arlie
it to
Army
end.
too, man. That guy is.
Well,
Yeah?
you've worked with some real.
He was telling the stories.
Wow.
I'm still blown away by Seymour Cassell because I think about him in The Killing of a Chinese Bookie and just how gangster he was. It was all these old LA type gangster guys.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, Cassavetes really, and Jenna Rollins.
Nice.
Probably, do you know what this is?
I think I'm picturing her face.
Okay, A Woman Under the Influence
Google her.
is imperative that you watch that as an actress. Actor,
A
sorry.
woman under influence?
A woman under the influence.
Oh, that used to be me.
Yes.
I get it.
But it's not like that. It's just, that's the title, but it's a whole other type of thing. It's like, you'll see. I don't want to ruin it.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
Yeah. I think it's really important for anybody that acts or
Oh, okay.
does cinematography or edit or whatever
Yeah,
to
I
look at
recognize
some of
her.
these films from the 60s and the 70s, the Raging Bulls and what was that book? Do you know what I'm talking about?
The Raging Bulls and
Yeah, she was in The Notebook.
Yeah.
really
Raging
popular-
Bulls and Easy Riders, I
Yes,
think it was called.
Easy Riders, Raging
Easy
Bulls.
Rider.
And it was talking about
that a
how they came in
Easy
and kind
Rider?
of crushed
Easy
the
Rider's
studio
another
system.
movie.
Yeah.
That was a great movie.
Yes.
It was-
Easy Rider.
It's fun. I saw it at the again at Hollywood Forever Cemetery a couple of years ago.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, that's a
I want
great
to go
place
and
to
do
go.
one of those.
We all had too much of like a space cake someone brought from Amsterdam, and
Oh my
everybody passed out by like 'cause it's a
Nice.
long, slow movie, you know.
Yeah.
And, we were kind of passed out
Yeah.
through the middle of it.
The
Where were
ending
you?
kinda
Did you
bummed
take
me out.
acting classes in school, or what was? How did this all
you
come
know-
to be?
Yeah, when
especially
did you,
with a
like, where
military
did you
father.
start?
It didn't even come around until college.
Wow.
I took my freshman year. I took improv just because I grew up watching it and was a big
love it.
comedy and stand-up comedy
Yeah.
fan. And there used to be so much stand-up comedy on TV.
Yeah.
And when I got to Stanford, I wanted to take that as a fun class because I was doing cross country and track and wanted something fun and didn't have a lot of time. And then I stopped running after my sophomore year and decided to go abroad and went backpacking by myself.
Nice.
Studied abroad for a couple terms and came back and said, you know what, I want to do more of that improv. But there weren't any more classes. Acting classes had improv exercises in the course curriculum.
Right. It was
So-
all short form too.
yeah, so I took an
Big
acting
improv
class so
guy,
I could
love
do
it.
more improv, and then it all took over from there. I was approached to do a play.
Wow.
And it was a one-man monologue. It was like a 20-minute monologue, first thing I'd ever done. And there was an
Whoa.
actress who was in the audience my first night, and she took me and led me around to the theater scene in San Francisco.
Wow.
A lot of ACT people, and doing everything from like classical to queer plays to you name it, and just anything I could get my hands on, stage readings, anything. And when it finally came time I thought I was going to go into investment banking, management consulting. When it came time to do interviews, I just decided I was going to go to LA to do theater for some strange reason.
Wow.
But I said I was going to go to, I was going to do my hobby, this thing
Your
that was my
intuition,
hobby,
yeah.
and not make money, but be happy. But I just chose poorly that LA for theater wasn't really the place to come.
Yeah.
Right.
But everything else kind of took off shortly thereafter. So.
Nice, man.
Wow.
was
What
back
was
in
your
98.
first role?
Well, the first role that I ended up doing, like first SAG role, was Dharma and Greg.
Oh, okay.
Wow, I
I had a
remember
nice
that.
guest star spot on that, and it was at the time it was this huge show. And
It was
there were so many
big.
people hanging around set. It was just an awesome experience.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Fine.
dude, you're killing it.
Yeah.
You're killing it.
I'm sorry, we jumped from 98 to now. Yes.
Would you get on
Been
stage and do
killing it.
improv again if I invited you somewhere to do it?
Yeah, I mean, I'd feel bad for, I got to remember to get back into the yes thing. And
Yes,
I feel bad for the people when I'd really freeze, but yeah. it's something
No,
I'd be
you would
interested to
do
again.
great. It would just be really cool. I do improv at a place called the Pack Theater, and I think it's one of the best theaters in LA right now. It's very indie. It's like UCB used to be years
Yeah.
ago.
I always wish I had the balls to take some of those classes like my friends have taken throughout the years.
Improv, I have to tell you, it saved my life. Some
Really?
very hard times. When my sister OD'd and died, I took an improv class along with therapy and staying clean and sober, and it really helped me.
Can't help but laugh, huh?
Yeah, you can't help but laugh, and
Yeah.
it's kind of good sometimes to be on stage and just be naked and rely on some teammates that you've been doing stuff with to feed you information.
And you're completely open up there, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
What I always found interesting is I didn't always necessarily need anything to be funny. It always ended up sometimes being funny because
Right.
it resembled life so much. But improv that just worked. Was
Yeah.
good improv. Like when you just look like, I believe they're sitting there at their anniversary eating
Right.
dinner right now.
Space work.
And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
just watching it, and it just I'm not even thinking about that. Now I'm in, you know?
Yeah.
And that was always kind of fascinating to me.
Well, finding that
So
truth in
cool.
comedy is what really makes good improv and comedy. Like
Yeah.
sometimes the more serious you try to be on stage, the better it is, you know.
Yeah.
So nice, man.
Are you gonna try and do stand up at all?
He's like, sure, why not? Let me jump in.
Fuck it.
No, lots of respect. I have friends who are comics, and I don't know, people would really laugh at me.
Yeah. Well, you said that acting was your hobby when you moved here. What are your
Right.
hobbies now, since that's your job now?
You know, I love to get in the outdoors. I don't do it near enough, but travel probably, you know, becomes a thing that has been a big thing for me. I'm a avid practitioner of yoga.
Nice.
I've kind of done everything when it's come to staying in shape. You know, everything from full tilt CrossFit to bodybuilding out here in Deep Valley at another place. You know, Eric the trainer. To a lot of movement stuff with another buddy that trains out of Highland Park, and so I've
Nice.
done so many different things, and now it's more about like movement, flexibility, mobility, along with strength and endurance, just kind of like living better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Down
been,
with
that's
that.
been great because
Nice.
you start to degenerate pretty quickly if you're not using it. And I think we get used to this feeling of, well, this hurts, so I'm going to not do this, as opposed to, well, maybe I should be trying to work on the other things surrounding it so this doesn't keep happening.
Oh,
Agreed.
that's so true. My back went out last week. I could not move, and I keep forgetting that if I stretch and stay moving,
Open those psoas.
my
right?
back's not going to go out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Right, but you only you're reactionary. So when it gives out, you go, "Oh gosh, I was doing so well," but you know you weren't because you weren't
I
doing
wasn't.
the exercises.
Right.
I
Hot yoga.
I considered golfing as my exercise. Like I was stretching by golfing.
Right, but you want to
It's not the
stretch out
truth.
beforehand because
you want to
that
stretch
also
beforehand.
pulls you.
Absolutely.
Right. I wasn't stretching beforehand.
Yeah, hot yoga is another thing. I hate to say this and sound dramatic, but it's another thing that really saved me in early recovery.
Oh man, I mean it's a source of meditation for me.
And although I would never visit another Bikram studio again, like
Yeah,
it
no.
helped.
I wouldn't either. I mean, I used to do Bikram back in the day when it was over on La Cienega. Like
That's
that
when
was
I did
the one
it.
spot.
I'm talking about like 2005,
Yeah,
2006.
that's when I was
but-
there. 4 days a
And
week,
he
but
was
I
a
don't like it.
rude fucking guy. I did
Remember- I
classes
can
with
imagine.
him.
So did I. Remember if you had a green mat? He
If you
believed
wore
if you
green
wore
mat.
green, anything green, he had like this big superstition again. It's,
Oh,
said it was
yeah.
bad for money.
What?
And he had all these rules and it was
Yeah,
worse.
but
So
none of those
wild.
rules pertain to him.
Yeah.
Oh, of course
So
not.
I'm detoxing. Well, I was done with the detox,
Yeah.
like coming off of a lot of stuff, mostly Xanax and Oxy and a plethora of other shit. Just came out of Promises rehab.
Yeah.
This is last week? What is it? When is
This
this?
is 2005.
Oh, it's 2005. Okay, no, sorry. I just got to make sure. We're jumping back and forth. We were 98 a while ago.
No. I'm staying with the La Cienega Bikram studio.
Okay, I'm there. 2005.
So, I'm not doing well. My sponsor's wife works there.
Oh, okay.
She's like, oh, you got to come to this Bikram yoga to really help you stretch, which is true. I go in there. There's about 150 people.
yeah, especially
In
in
the
that big
studio.
room.
It's about 114, 115. They kept it hot and humid in there. Midway through, I lay down.
Did you fall
He
asleep?
walks up. No, you don't fall asleep with him on the mic.
Eyes are open.
He walks up to me and very loudly says, "Sir, please get up. You've been laying down your whole life."
Oh my God.
And I got up, I rolled up my mat, and I left. And I was like, there's no
Bye.
way I can do this today.
And that's how Bikram saved your life?
That's no.
Because I was like, that's pretty awesome.
No, I kept going
"You're
back.
right.
You're right.
I'm not
And
going to
gonna
waste
go
it
lay
in
down.
here.
I'm going to go back and lay down. No, and I continued to go back. And I went to other classes. And I kind of avoided him for a minute because he was just a nightmare.
Yeah.
Loudmouth, egotistical. I grew up listening to Alan Watts and, like some spiritual people that
Right.
were just the antithesis of who Bikram was. But I went, and then I did this 90-day challenge, and then I was just steady into it. And it changed me. It changed my posture. It changed my thinking. It changed my skin. It changes everything.
Well, if you
on a
practice it,
cellular
I mean,
level.
the yoga is really what's happening all throughout the day, and you practice it and say, okay, when these fight or flight comes up, this feeling that I want to escape, this is how I breathe through it. And those things happen all day. Those situations that you don't want to be in, the people you see that you don't want to see, the patience that you don't have when you're dealing with your spouse or somebody. And so it's something that you try to remember to practice all day and breathe.
Yeah.
Namaste, mad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm gonna stay here.
You seem very centered. You seem like you practice this stuff and you
Yeah.
try and be on this.
What a
I
great
try
energy.
to. Yeah, I mean, I came off a class today, then I went and hiked today. You know, I'm really
My
feeling
God.
it the LA
Right,
day.
right.
But no, I try to. I just because I know the other way is, I mean, I've worked out hard and had show muscles and been in absolute pain, you know.
Right,
and,
right.
And I feel while I'm young enough to at least maybe change my body a little bit is when I got to put a concerted effort in. And I just believe that you should move every day. Your body just has to move every day.
Yeah, I'm down with
That's
that.
so
You know,
inspiring.
and you
I
should
need to
push
do that.
yourself a little bit.
Yeah, I
so
totally
need to
agree
do
with
that.
that. And I do that.
And it seems really easy, and it continues throughout your your 20s, your 30s. You think it's all going to be okay, and then at one point it just isn't anymore, and then it's everything you can work a month, and literally it feels like 2 days of eating like an idiot, and you're suddenly like, I look like I don't even work out anymore. Mm-hmm. But we're all body dysmorphic here too.
A little
so
bit.
true.
Not just from growing up in LA and being around a family. Well, not a family. My father was very like, we got to get it. You got to go running. You got to go running. You've been eating. You're getting like I'm 14. Can I have just a little tiny bit of body fat?
Were
like,
you,
so
were
I
you
know
chubby 14?
it's a little
or
chubby. That was
husky?
what they called husky.
Right.
In
Remember
the
the
Sears
pants? Remember
catalog.
you get the pants. What are those jeans called? Buster, not Buster.
No, they were tough skins.
Tough skins.
You wore tough skins.
No,
You know
I
what
wasn't
I'm talking
husky.
about.
Jesus Christ, come on. I was.
Not you.
I was
They'd
perfectly
force you to eat.
proportioned, long legs, milky skin. No, I never wore husky. I mean, I was a stick thin,
Right.
runner's legs, skinny little thing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Burnt to a crisp every summer.
Yeah, me too.
Not red, just totally brown.
Me, like, right, nose peeling, like with that really
I
pink
never
skin
burnt or
underneath.
peeled when I was,
Yeah,
and now I
right.
do. Now it's like
Yeah,
I'm
I
a
think
vampire.
it's a different kind of sun now.
you-
Don't
well, you
even get
also-
me
you
started
lose
on
it as you get
vampire.
older.
Yeah, you lose the pigment, yeah.
Listen, I am like so pale, but only my left shoulder is sunburnt right now from driving.
Oh, I was going to say
Tint
because
your
the
windows.
Isn't that
tattoo.
hilarious?
I see it. It's a little pink above the tattoo. Plus, you should be
Yeah.
putting something on the tattoo.
Right, you want to keep that. You don't want that to fade.
You don't want it to fade out.
Yeah,
She's like,
sure,
no,
for
I
sure.
do.
Do you feel the
I do want it
ink?
to
She's like, I do. That's why I was kidding because I
Yeah.
remember you telling me.
I'm trying to go in reverse.
But there is body dysmorphia, and it's funny because as a male, it's like it's a weird thing to even talk about. But again, when I was
It's so
in,
true.
I've been in a couple of rehabs, not last week, but
Are you
through
sure?
my life, and it's a big thing for males to be. There's bulimic males, especially in Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
Really?
Yeah, of course.
There's males with anorexia in Hollywood. Oh yeah, this is real.
Wow,
There's some serious disorders that are crossing all genders.
that's so scary.
And I think that's what the progression of any sort of addiction or neurosis is about. Like it's going to get across the board. It's not going to be limited to one class, especially when you're in a melting pot like Los Angeles or anywhere, I guess. But it's more noticeable here because it crops up.
I need to go to the gym.
And if that's what you take away from that, then my work is done.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us.
I had
that's
to. I'm
great.
doing a movie in June, and my character has to be in like great physical shape and like toned, as if she's like a runner every day of her life, or like every.
Yeah, but you'll get it. You're young. You will bounce into shape quickly.
Yeah, and for the majority of Americans, what you look like right now is what they would assume someone who runs every day looks like.
I think so, right?
Like nothing extra on you
Yeah,
at
you
all.
look kind of cut up. You're good to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I'm not fishing. I'm just. I see myself,
I'm not fishing, but
but also keep it coming. It's fine. Well,
I don't eat
haven't-
fast food, but
I'm a little iffy on fast food, but
I'm iffy on fast food and I won't do it. But I was eating McDonald's, and
all right, you got me. It was true. I ate it, and it was
I
delicious.
really can't pat myself on the back for getting you. I mean, you literally just.
I set myself up for that. I have a really awesome game.
I don't even know if you were in on it that much.
you'd be a good mentor.
I have a really awesome game today.
She really wants to
He's a-
move on to her game.
He's a good
Enough
mentor.
about me. Let's talk about the game.
That's good stuff, though. That's the stuff. That's the kind of friend you want to have, though.
Yeah.
Somebody who puts you in check with your words, because words are so strong and so.
That's so true. It's so true.
It is.
High five. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's a
Thank
good
you for
friend
your
right
truth.
there.
Thank you for your truth.
It's a good dude, man.
No more McDonald's. No more.
Not before the movie, anyway.
biggest-
No,
Afterwards.
absolutely not.
My biggest
before
pet
the
peeve,
movie.
honestly, is when people are like, "Don't judge me," but it's like that's what we do. That's I
when
judge you.
people
I
say,
judge
"I'm just
myself.
saying."
Right.
I'm just saying, as if that like makes it better
I'm just
for whatever
saying.
you
I'm
just
just
said.
saying.
Or the one that's very in fashion now is like, "Well, I have a daughter, so now I understand."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, like so now you understand why people don't like being raped or anything else.
Right.
Like you wouldn't want your
Right.
daughter to. But before that, you couldn't imagine just not being a
Right.
shitty person who actually cares about other people.
Like, really?
so true.
That is just as bad as I have
Well, I have a
black
daughter,
friends.
so I understand
I don't
that.
mean to sound racist,
Yeah.
but
I
Yeah.
am. But I am, so I'm
Stop.
going to continue.
Right. So you're gonna say the most racist thing ever.
And by the
Got
way-
it.
They win ethnic, so
Yeah.
And by the way, please let us see your racism. This is the time we need to expose all the dark shadow of America. Let us see every aspect of you. Let's get it out in the open.
And it's all over Facebook. What do you
No
mean?
need to hide this anymore.
It's all up in my Facebook. That and animal cruelty videos. Like, why in the hell
I
are
don't
you
wanna
going to
see
post a
animal cruelty
video of a
videos.
dog being abused? It
don't.
literally makes me sick to my stomach. Anyways,
It's,
on a lighter note, I have a really awesome game today.
okay. Cannot wait now that I'm in the mood.
Please let's segue from animal cruelty into games.
Please. Since you're a dad, this game is called Dad Jokes. So, pick a paper, any paper. I have no idea which one. Pick a
Okay.
paper, any
I'm
paper.
not a dad, just so we.
Oh, this one? There we go.
All right. So,
I wanted to be.
the
It
way
just
we're going to
didn't
set
work
this
out.
up, you guys are going to have a face-off.
Oh, is this one where we don't laugh?
And whoever makes the other person laugh gets a point. And whoever
Okay.
wins this duel is going to battle me.
And do we go one for one? Like he goes, then I go, then he goes, then I
Yes.
go? Did
Yes.
you just make that up right now? Because you're like, that
Yes.
sounds like a great idea.
Did you just make this
it
game
was,
up?
it was
Yes.
I read it all over your face.
Oh,
Yeah.
Next time when they say I want to see something behind the eyes, think about this moment.
okay.
so
I'm
true.
impressed that you came
I
up
have
with
the
this.
See
worst
the
poker
smoke
face.
coming
I
out.
have the worst poker face.
Yes.
So bad, but I still play.
All
I
right,
do
here we
well.
go. So he says something to me, and then I say something to him. 1 for 1.
Yes.
2 for 2, 3 for 3, 4 for 4.
Our guest,
Okay.
Nicholas, can go first.
And we have to make eye
You
contact
guys
while
have
doing it.
to. You have to make eye contact. You
All
got to
right.
make it special.
I'm first. He's
No,
first.
Nicholas is first.
Why don't crabs give to charity?
Do I answer that, or I just listen to it?
You just listen.
Why don't crabs give to charity? Because they're shellfish.
Okay. The rotation of the Earth really makes my day.
I got hit in the head with a can of Diet Coke today. Don't worry, I'm not hurt. It was a soft drink.
You're not allowed to laugh either.
I'm allowed. This is hilarious.
What's the best way to watch a fishing tournament? Live stream.
Why do melons have weddings? Because they can't elope.
That's a millennial. But you borrowed that from a baby
Just so
boomer.
people don't think that is not him with that girlish laughter.
That wasn't a laugh from anything he said.
No,
That
no,
was a
I'm-
laugh
I'm-
from him, his original thing.
I'm observing.
Did you hear Arnold Schwarzenegger will be doing a movie about classical music? He'll be Bach.
Actually works on a couple levels.
It does.
Yeah.
If you think about
That one's
it.
good. I don't know if that qualifies as a dad joke. Don't take credit. though. You didn't write this. You're like, dad
No, I
jokes.
got
Google.
Exactly that.
Facts don't matter.
A ham sandwich walks into a bar and orders a beer. Bartender says, sorry, we don't serve food here.
Oh, that was a laugh.
That was not a laugh.
That was a
a
sigh.
breath.
Like, really? You're going to come to me
Thank
with that?
you. Right.
Respect, brother.
Because I
respect.
wanted to add a
I don't need this paper.
I wanted to add a Jewish angle to that joke. Anything having to do with ham sandwiches, for some reason, immediately I want to put a Jew in there. I can say that because I'm half Jewish.
Well,
You're
anything's
Jew.
allowed as long as it's
You're
through
a
this
Jew.
hole
I
in the
can say
sheet.
that I have Jewish friends.
As long as you say it through the hole in the sheet,
I'm
it's
just
fine.
saying. I'm just saying. I'm a Jew-ish.
Now that is something you should.
Wait, what did you say?
Do you remember? Do you remember?
The hole in the sheet is so gnarly.
Do you remember Kids in the Hall?
Yes.
Kids in the Hall did a great
Brilliant.
a segment on that where this one guy is like doing everything through the hole in the sheet, and his wife comes home and he's eating like ribs. He's got the sheet held up and he's eating ribs through it. And Honey, you're Jewish. You're not supposed to eat pork. And he's like, it's okay as long as I do it through this hole in the sheet. And he's like walking around throughout his day doing all this stuff you're not supposed to, but as long as he does it through this hole in the sheet.
And just rationalizing the whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, the last
Do you know
one.
what the hole in the
I don't find
sheet's
it funny.
about?
No.
Well, you have to understand the whole thing and about
We're
it.
going to explain it, but I have to read this last one.
The
Because I think I'm
Jewish
going to get
ritual
him.
with you. Right.
You think
I'm
you're
gonna
going to
get him on this one.
All right. All right.
The difference between a numerator and a denominator is a short line. Only a fraction of people will understand this.
It's really witty.
Next time I'm writing these.
It's really...
Next time I'm writing these, and I'm adding all kinds of shit.
All right. All right. Don't use the papers. Just use your wit
I can't.
and your imagination.
The worst thing is always hard to come up with
time
at the
break.
time.
You do the tiebreaker.
All right. Let's see if I can make anyone
But I
laugh.
like the game.
Thank you.
It's really creative that you came up with it.
Thank
I
you.
love.
Thank you. Stop it. Keep going. If you see a robbery at an Apple store, does that make you an eyewitness?
Okay, that one's pretty good.
Oh, at an Apple... I thought meant like where they sold apples.
Eyewitness.
You should have said like a Mac store. Then I would have been like, oh... That would have had me.
Oh, damn it. I bought some shoes from a drug dealer. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day.
Not bad. It's getting there.
Okay. Do you know why cemeteries are so popular? People are just dying to get in there.
Oh my God, no.
That's going way back.
See, you should have said that's because that's where the stiffs hang out. See, I got you. You're done. We're over.
Listen, I find that funny. This is my favorite one, and this is the one I use often.
Okay.
Two peanuts were walking down an alley,
Yes.
and one was assaulted.
That cannot be your favorite.
That is my favorite.
There is no. I'm gonna bring you.
Literally, none of these jokes
50.
were funny. None of them.
We're
That's
older.
my favorite joke.
We're older.
Dad jokes don't work on dads.
You have to come in.
Actually, they don't work
yeah.
on anybody. I think that's what makes them dad jokes, right?
I'm gonna do some real shocking stuff that if people don't laugh, it's gonna appear that they're laughing because they're gonna be so uncomfortable. Those are the kind of jokes I'm gonna lay out.
Was my delivery
You
off?
got me on this one.
Like Citizens of Humanity kind of stuff.
Yeah, citizen.
I thought they were
That's
hilarious.
what we're playing.
What is that?
We're gonna do Citizens of Humanity or some really dark game here where we pick a card.
You have to make the answers to like these questions with really horrible answers.
Yes,
Oh, that's amazing.
that's fun.
That's amazing.
Appeals
Okay.
to your baser instincts.
Where'd you meet your wife?
Facebook, actually. Funny.
Really?
Really?
See?
No. We
Wow.
actually we ended up we realized we had met prior to that, but I popped up on People You May Know because we actually have a lot of mutual friends in common, and she was like, her words, she was like, yes, please, added me, and I very quickly wrote back, have we met? And she wrote back asking if I was a DJ at Jane's house or something.
Right.
And because she used to work bottle service a few different places, and she's an actress as well. And we talked maybe for about 6 months, just very friendly, not even a flirt, just kind of witty stuff back and forth. And I
Nice.
think she was
Wow.
probably in a relationship at the time. And it wasn't until later when I started asking her out, like, oh, me and my friends are going to be here. You should come by. A friend's playing, or come by this. And she always, always didn't show up until finally we met up about 6 months later at the Hudson Street Fair and watched some music. There was an eclipse. We
Wow.
kissed.
Nice.
We had sex. No, I'm kidding. We waited till the next
the
day
street.
because she's a lady.
I took her into the alley.
Yeah, and it was love. But we've
great
been
story.
together since then. That was like 6 years ago. This
Wow.
night.
Wow.
Nice,
That's
man.
so awesome.
Yeah, and
really
I mean, I
cool-
owe a lot to this woman. I mean, we both have kind of built a life together, and I think it, really happened when a few years ago when she grabbed me, pulled me close, goes, look, like life is going to pass you by. Do you want to live it? You want to do this? And it really, I think, especially some of the best advice I can give actors out there too. I think just in your life, but actors need to be told this is that you're waiting and living for that day when. Fill in the blank. I have a show, or I'm this, or I'm fulfilled because I'm making a living off of this, or because people back home think I'm successful. Whatever it is, you're waiting, and you're not going to your friend's bachelorette party. You're not going to your friend's wedding, or you're not making this because it's pilot season, and you stay and you don't get an audition anyway. And all this stuff that you cut off yourself from, and it's life. And that's what you're asked to replicate suddenly on screen, and yet you're closing yourself off to all these experiences because you're waiting to be able to give them the chance to portray these experiences that you're not ready to portray because you're waiting to live. So you got to
Holy
get out
shit.
and just start saying yes and live your life, and work will find you.
Wow.
That's how I live.
Wow.
That takes a minute to really let that sink in. I feel like that's
It's
something
hard.
that takes
It's
a
scary.
little...
It's
Yeah.
scary because
Wow.
you give up a lot to be out here. If you're in
Yeah.
this industry, you give up a lot. You give up the respect of your friends and family.
Yeah.
You give up security. You give up money. You give up comfort.
Yeah.
And we're in many ways the true blue collar worker too. I mean, we're the people that are living check to check. We're the ones that are. The funny thing is, another actor, a buddy of mine, Ramon de Ocampo, wrote this awesome, essay, I guess you'd maybe call it, but it was on Facebook about this idea of the Hollywood elite, and he said we, if anything, are the true blue collar worker, and that union made up of mostly the unemployed and people that have to work 5 jobs just to drive all the way across town and be disrespected in a meeting and be rejected again to drive all the way back to and hold out on all these things, and then who do you think is going to tell the blue-collar workers out there in America who's going to tell their story?
Right.
Us. So if you're trying to ostracize or think that we're not a part of you, we're the very basis of it,
Yeah, absolutely.
And artists are just sometimes also on the cusp of, speaking out and talking about the wrongs in society. So sometimes they're not exactly lauded for that.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff. That's the truth.
Goosebumps again.
That's absolutely
You should
the
get a
truth.
jacket.
They're not
know.
lauded
You
for
can't
that.
see she's in a little cutoff.
Yeah.
They're not
I'm in a
lauded for
tank.
that. I just have to repeat that. They're not lauded for that. And the nerve of people to not laud them for that. Because if you're in a position to speak up against injustice and you have a following, I hope you're doing that, especially in this day and age, and not minding your own business and just being a worker among workers and watching a bunch of shit happen in front of your face.
It's time to live.
It's time to live and it's time to speak up.
It is time
And
to
realize
live.
that the three of us sitting in this room are in the top percentile of what's going on in this world right now as far as living good and having advantages that 80% of the world will never have. I think that's about a pretty accurate number, yeah.
Yeah, I find myself complaining about shit that is so not even a big deal.
I think that's
Well, it's
another
okay.
important
The fact that
thing.
you even know that is a good thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's another important thing about living a life or pursuing a career that's in some ways can be very self-centered because it's very, self-focused.
Yeah.
And it's very important to get outside yourself. And a good friend and acting coach friend of mine, Lee Kilton Smith, was telling a lot of her students that what she thinks is really important is having charity, and something outside yourself, and it puts a lot of things in perspective. So when you're really down on yourself and you realize there are people out there that are truly at their end, and something that you do, say, give, can make the difference. In their lives, and if you start to feel that, then you realize how much better it is to give, and naturally things just start to, the way it works, things come back to you, but you find that that's actually where the real joy comes from, because you're sitting here receiving and hoping and realizing it's not living up to what you think it's going to be, and it's because you're really focused on what you're getting and not what you're putting back out.
Yeah, it's so
Yes,
true.
that's the selfishness and self-centeredness of the egomaniac.
Self-absorption has been a hot topic for me this past week. Because I've been, there's, I'm not going to get too personal, but there's instances that come up where I have not looked outside myself to meet others where they're at. You know what I mean? And I'm only focused on I'm hurt. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm not
Where
really
you're coming from.
Right.
That's a tough one.
There's still another person in this situation.
You don't know
So-
what they've been through coming to it.
Right.
Right.
Or
Because you can be
how
right.
they feel about it.
You can be justified.
Right.
That's
Right.
not going to make you either A, nice, or B, feel any better.
Right.
So healthy communication comes into play.
And you just
there.
start to realize that life isn't fair and things aren't always justified, and the less you can, you can try to get your fair share, and the more you can try to focus on other people getting it,
Yeah.
it just kind of seems to wash together.
Being of service always creates more abundance as opposed to being selfish.
And that's why you should
Yeah.
do it.
M. Scott Peck wrote a book called The Road Less Traveled, and the very first sentence in his book is, life is difficult.
Oh.
That's funny because I was listening to an Eckhart Tolle years ago. I was listening to Eckhart Tolle, and he's like, if you only read that one sentence, you don't need to read the rest of the book, actually, because that's the bottom line.
Yeah, life is difficult.
I want to say something quickly because we're in an area where drug abuse has always been rampant. I mean, that area being Hollywood. North Hollywood probably is pretty bad, too. But I was reading something that 64,000, which is more people that died in Vietnam. 64,000 people died from opiates last year.
Wow.
And I'm mentioning this because that's where I try to reach out and to be of service as a recovering addict alcoholic, and I'm breaking my anonymity. But I'm doing this for a reason because I think if anybody listens to this and they need help or if they want information, please feel free to email us because I have a wealth of knowledge as far as where to send people for rehab, detox, or whatever. Because we are at epidemic levels with drug addiction now, and it's
bad.
out of control.
Someone I just went to high school with died.
And young, that's 26, right? 25, 26 years old.
He's probably 28.
But I mean,
He was
that's
2 years ahead.
that's years.
And it's actually just a grade ahead. But I was young. I was
You were
young
really
for
smart
my
for your
grade.
age.
I was really actually
Graduated at 14.
I graduated at 17.
Wow.
I started kindergarten at 4. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a smart woman.
But I'm also a July baby.
You're
so
also
I was
you're a hustler.
very
You
young.
get stuff done.
Yeah.
You say what you do and do what you say, which impresses me. You really rise
Thank you.
up.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a pleasure doing this with you. I just want you to know that.
The music fades in.
It's really,
Yeah, right? And it's my cover singing it.
it's your energy. He brought in good energy,
He
good
did.
chill
He
vibe
did.
today. I
Oh,
really
gosh,
appreciate
no.
you being
Are you
here.
kidding? I was so excited about working together with Chelsea. It was
Yes.
such a joy. She came into a very difficult situation and made it super easy, and it was just her professional, dedicated self. And when it came time to sit down and talk, I was like, hell yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, that
This
was
is great.
That was
That's
a
great.
good one.
And I'm sure you guys will be working again together.
Well, I think we've like 2 more scenes to
I
shoot.
know. I wonder.
Right?
I think they're already talking about, which I knew was going to happen with Chris. Like, I don't even know if we need those. And
I figured that would happen. Yeah.
yeah, so I don't even know what's going on with that
Yeah,
the
me
film
neither,
right now.
But
I'm still waiting for my insurance payout for my burnt clothes.
really?
Yeah.
Wait, burnt clothes?
Can we talk about this?
There was like a fire in the one van that literally had like, our clothes as well as props as well as everything else. And
Oh
yeah.
my gosh.
It's a little
And
independent
it was like all
film.
my own
It was an
clothes.
awesome film.
It was cool.
Great
It was
cast.
cool.
It
Everyone
sounds like
was
there's a
super
lot of
cool.
tension, and when there's a lot of tension, sometimes there's some real magic, right?
No, I mean, with us, it was all good. It's just a matter of, it's a film that we didn't get it all while we were there. You know,
okay.
and then you're just wondering what kind of, I'm sure they're editing the hell out of it, and they're going to figure out they probably won't need that footage. They're lacking.
Right.
Because there's a
Yeah.
really cool theme that if it works out that she's key in, and it would be really cool. She's kind of like Alias maybe, she's changing all these different women, different
Yeah, it'd be really
manifestations.
cool to
so
get those other
could be
2
cool.
scenes done.
Nice.
That'd be really cool because then it would make sense.
It's a key part, which could be really neat. So
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Look at you.
We shall see.
Got some skills.
Just out here being my best self, you know what I mean?
Yes. And when you're not,
my help,
Thank you, Nicholas.
Pygmalion.
Thank you so much for coming today.
Henry
really,
Higgins.
This was a
really, this has been
blast.
great.
Okay, I'm leaving. Okay, go ahead.
No, not right now.
no,
Hold
I'm
on one second.
kidding. No,
I want to
you.
thank
It's
you for
awesome.
not only sharing how you came up, but also just the spiritual aspect of the importance
Yeah.
of working in a field that could be just extremely self-obsessive.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're focused in, you're going to be disappointed. You're only going to disappoint yourself, which isn't a thing of talking down about yourself. It's just a matter of there's a lot of help to be gained by people around you, and you just got to be vulnerable enough to be open to that, and as well to not make people feel bad about asking for your help.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good
He's
stuff.
such a humble dude, too.
Yeah.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. That was like
Yeah.
the next guest.
As I'm like talking out
You
about
said
it,
there
like
was
he's
someone
not
really important
here.
coming. I can't wait till that guy shows. You're good.
Yeah, seriously.
awesome.
Yeah. We do need to wrap up because we're over an hour, but
I thought this was like an Italian goodbye.
Well, thank you very much.
I just made the length of it.
Yeah,
But
cool.
yeah, the accent too. That's amazing.
Thank you, seriously, for being here. It's a
Thanks for having me.
blast.
Good stuff.
Thank you to Tigheland Productions. Guys, please rate and review. It helps. And tell your friends or something. Tune in next week for another awesome guest. And do you have anything to say in our outro?
I don't. I'm very, I don't know. It's like one of those shows where I just feel very grounded. And
Yeah.
I got to talk about some stuff that I haven't been able to talk about. Some
Yeah.
old films, some spirituality.
Yeah.
And just the need to be grounded these days in a very insane world
All right.
to try and stay a little sane.
Do you want to tell people where they can find you?
Yes.
You can find me. I'm trying to remember my rap lyrics. I know, but I don't know where you can find it. You can find me at I am Nick Gonzalez with a Z at the end on Twitter, and El Tex-Mex, the Texas Mexican, El Tex-Mex at Instagram.
All right.
Cool.
That one's great.
Yeah.
And I will,
I'm gonna find
I
you
will
on that one.
overshare
Nice.
all day for you. The intricacies of my life and my
I'm going
daughter's
to follow
life.
your story.
Yeah,
You have a cute daughter.
thank you.
Make sure to check out The Good Doctor on ABC. Or is it on? Is the finale just happened, right?
The finale just happened. We're going to be starting up again in September. I'm sure they're probably going to be hopefully running reruns soon.
Yeah.
And
Nice,
I'm also
dude.
coming out in Being Mary Jane for BET, Gabrielle Union's show. They didn't do a 5th season, but they
love
did
her.
a 2-hour movie of the week. She's really awesome. And if you
so
haven't seen
rad.
that show, I got to say, BET really knocks it out of the park with it. Gabrielle is just absolutely incredible. And I think especially for a lot of women viewers, it's a really important show because it shows women like that is trying to have it all and
Yeah.
showing like what that is like. And she's fallible, she's not perfect and she makes the mistakes and learns from them. And it's really well done.
Wow.
ABC's
written really
killing it.
Yeah, for real.
Between
Totally
Blackish, Modern Family, The Good Doctor. I mean, those are the ones that I know. Those are the kind of the real heavy.
Well,
duty.
the one, I guess Roseanne
Grey's
Barr
Anatomy.
show's doing really well for them now
That's
too.
right.
That one was epic. That had like 18 million.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it had like a 5.0 in the 18 to 49, which is crazy.
They broke records.
All right,
for
I
like
need
the
to
past
see
4
that.
years
Did you
or
see
something.
it?
No,
I haven't seen it either. I want to
didn't
just
see
because
it.
John Goodman is so legendary.
John Goodman's
at this
incredible,
point.
but Laurie Metcalf, come on, she's in another
Brilliant.
planet. Did you see
Getting On?
Whoa! You guys keep jinxing it up.
Dude, my girl Alex Borstein is
Oh my
in that
God.
show. Nisi, I mean, all of them were.
Oh,
just
dude, that
absolutely
show is it
incredible.
coming back? Or?
No, and everybody wants it.
2
to.
seasons, right?
It was so good.
It's based on an English show that I haven't seen.
Really?
It is so good. It's
Getting
about this
On-
geriatric ward in a hospital, and it's so many female actresses that you hadn't seen in a long time too. That was providing all this work for these elderly female actresses, and great storylines, and the comedy, and the
humanity.
emotion, the humanity. It's beautiful, and Alex Borstein is incredible.
I've been watching The Path on Hulu lately.
Oh yeah,
I just started season 3 last night.
that's
seen
with Aaron, right?
Yeah, it's so good with Aaron Paul.
Oh yeah, you told me about
Oh my
that.
god, I can't stop watching it.
I
It's
just
like-
watched Fortitude, both seasons of Fortitude on Hulu.
What's that?
Dark, so good.
Oh really?
About 7 seconds. Have you started that yet?
Yeah, I just finished 7 seconds.
My wife had to turn it
pissed
off.
me off.
There was the dead baby, and she was like, "I can't watch any more of this."
It's just the end really got me, and I just had to let it go. Yeah.
Regina King is a boss.
Brilliant.
She
Dude,
she
she's
directed
killing
an
it.
episode of The Good Doctor.
Really?
Really?
Oh, yeah, she's awesome.
That's amazing.
And funny little tidbit here: when you go online, if you look us both up, it says we dated someone. We never have, but it's so funny because people see it and they're like, and like even girls I dated before and like looked me up or something and saw that and were like, okay, I like her. That's badass. I'm like, oh shit! I suddenly
You
got
guys
like
never
respect for
dated?
having dated
That's
her.
great.
Totally would have, but no.
That's great.
so
Of
funny.
course.
Now we became friends. We were all in Hawaii
She
for
just
some
seems so
paintball tournament. It could happen, but
Wow.
yeah, she's super cool.
She just seems so smart to me, and
She is.
very just
is.
really centered and focused on her what she does.
Right,
the
she
best kind of
cares. She
people.
cares what you want to say and do. She was an awesome director, and
Wow.
we're looking forward. I'm
Nice.
sure to having her back. So.
That's very
Nice.
awesome. Well,
Thanks again, Nick.
congratulations.
Yeah, I want to hurry up
was
and get
cool.
into LA traffic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Where do you live? You live
You
on this
just
side of
love
town?
it.
I'm over Beverly Fairfax area.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
okay.
You got a little bit of a
Yeah.
hike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Take Outpost.
I know the secrets of Outpost.
Yeah. That's the greatest thing.
Yeah, your phone doesn't
Yesterday-
work for like a good 15 minutes.
True.
But
I took
That's a good
Nice.
thing. Yeah.
I took Franklin Canyon route
Mm-hmm.
last night. That road's terrifying, but it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
I
It's
know it's so
beautiful.
narrow and
Beautiful
bumpy.
view.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's beautiful.
It's gorgeous.
I've been traveling those roads since I was 17 years old. I know all of those ins and outs.
Goes
of
right up
getting
to
over.
Coldwater.
Right.
It's so nice.
Well, it's back with Thomas guides and all that when you have to resort to
Thomas
like
guides.
you know, you didn't know what the traffic was going to be like. You
That's
just
right.
Keep going.
That's right. I love that you're just within 10 years of me. It's perfect because that was just before technology.
Oh man, I used to have to go to my agency to pick up the scripts and pick up my sides. And they would have them in
Really?
an envelope like after hours or you know.
That's
and,
awesome.
And you'd see all the other actors and they would have like their names and they'd have their
Who
own
was your
file.
manager
I
back in
actually
the day?
like
Was
that
Lee
better
Daniels
because then
ever
it's
your
more
manager?
FaceTime.
Lee Daniels.
Did you know Lee Daniels was a manager? He managed a bunch of friends
I
of
did
mine.
not know that.
But that's way
He
back.
put me in
It's in the early
Star.
90s.
He put me in
did?
Star. Yeah, I was the foster father who molests the girl, but they ended up going a different direction. They recast the part because everybody's like nobody believed like when he wanted to do it, he wanted me because he's like I want you to like him and then realize how horrible he is and then be kind of tormented about it.
Right.
He didn't want like the typical pederast.
Of course. Of
But a
course.
classier, better form of pederast.
Yeah.
And but anyway, so that was a recast, but really interesting guy to work with.
Oh, he's an interesting.
He's got a vision. I got to say, like I remember doing a scene on Star, and it was Queen Latifah, who is amazing. Honestly, she really
woman.
is, and such a cool woman.
Oh, yeah.
So like dropped in, and Ben, oh my gosh. He plays a record producer on it, Benjamin Bratt.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
And, you know, the girls are all there, and there's a whole music scene, and then we come in with the cops at the end, and, like, all this choreographed, but we stood there, and he took us beat by beat through the whole scene, and the way he saw it, and you could see it just come alive. I mean, the man's definitely got an idea. And
He's got a great
vision.
story.
That's so
he,
cool.
if you could ever listen, he's got a Mark Maron, a WTF interview with
yeah?
him and Mark that is just amazing. Where Lee came from and how he rose up, and it's just amazing.
Yeah,
Good
he
stuff.
knows what he wants.
He knows what he wants, and he knows every aspect of Hollywood. There's nothing better than somebody coming up the ranks
Yeah.
through being a PA, basically.
True.
You know.
Being a PA is hard. I did it once. It's rough.
Set that ego aside.
Yeah.
It was rough.
Set that ego aside. That's the number one thing.
I learned a lot. I'm grateful for the experience. I
That-
was exhausted.
Is a daily reprieve, setting the ego aside.
It's right. You're right.
Just
of
a
humble
man
pie.
among men. Yeah, exactly.
Bringing
lot
up
of humble pie in this
self-absorption
business.
again. Yeah, it was a very long, exhausting day, but I did learn a lot and gained a new appreciation and respect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For the way below the liners.
Oh yeah. I had to be the last one to eat.
Well, that's bullshit. I'm not.
No, I actually like that one. I like that power play.
What's
That
it,
was a good one.
McDonald's?
You shall eat last.
Yeah.
Just to see if she'd do it.
But what's crazy is as I wrapped it, I was like thanking
I
everyone.
forgive you.
And I was about to walk to my car. I went up to the director and I was like, "Thank you for having me." And he's like, "Yeah, good luck trying to get back in front of the camera again."
Wow.
Little rude.
Yeah.
You have Dustin Hoffman there. Tell me about your sex life.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that was rude. But
We're in a new time. Thank God.
yeah, it was like some commercial. I don't even know what it was for. But anyways, what are we talking about?
You were saying goodbye. You were going to let me out of here.
Oh yeah, we keep saying
You're
bye
gonna unlock-
and then
you're
we
gonna
talk
unlock-
about more
love
stories.
You were gonna
watching
unlock the
that
door.
whole thing right there of you. You are hilarious. That
I'm
was
hungry.
so good.
You're going to unlock the door and let me out.
Oh yeah, we have him locked up in here. Thank you so much, Nicholas.
Again,
for
dude.
coming
Thank
in.
you.
Hey, anytime. You guys are awesome.
And we out.
Thank you.